Alright everyone, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not a good update. Eze and Tottenham are in talks, it's real. Fabrizio Romano said they understands Tottenham are also back in talks for Eberechi Eze, and that it's a separate deal from Savinho. Spurs are trying for Eze while they work on Savinho following Maddison injury and the Son exit. Eze is keen, but deal depends on Palace as the release clause has expired. We're probably quite lucky that that's expired because it seems an easier release clause to meet than the Morgan Gibbs White one, which Spurs showed that they were willing to meet. Only Nottingham Forest made that complicated and Gibbs White signed a new deal with Forest. So basically what I'm trying to say is, had that release clause still been there, Spurs might well have activated it. Why didn't they earlier? Because they did have a bit of time post Gibbs White. They probably just didn't know the terms of the deal. Arsenal, we know they're trying to negotiate Palace down on Eze. We actually want to get him for less than that release clause. There was lots of rumours and reports that Arsenal kind of believe they can do that. But also things have gone quiet. We haven't really heard of constant talks. We don't really know how advanced Arsenal are in their interest of Eze. All we have heard really is that Arsenal want to... Sorry, it's first thing in the morning. I'm just waking up. We understand that Arsenal are really looking at sales first. Zinchenko, Lokonga, Reece Nelson, maybe a Kivior. So, yeah, everything's kind of cooled on our end. But you wait around too long, you mess around, and other clubs will come in for a player of Eze's quality. Now, that last line is quite concerning. Eze is keen, but the deal depends on Palace release clause. Sorry, depends on Palace as the release clause expired. He's keen. Now, look, let's read between the lines here. Do I believe you choose Arsenal over Tottenham? I absolutely do. Do I believe he would happily play for Tottenham? Yeah, probably. He's 27. I think this is going to be his last big move. He'll play European football, play at a good level. Spurs, at their best, are somewhat competitive. At their worst, can be way off it. But even at their worst last season, got the Europa League. So they'll always kind of be in Europe in some way. This is a tricky one. It could also be quite clever from the agent. Now, I'm not saying that he's making up that there's talks with Tottenham. I think Tottenham's intent is serious. But, get it out there that you're keen, Eze. Get it out there that there's a, deal there that you're willing to do if Arsenal kind of don't wake up. So that's kind of the optimist and delusional side of me coming out. Because we can't lose out on this player. It would be such... Now, I always said that with the other 6 deals we wanted to do, I was happy to be patient on the Eze one because I didn't feel like it had to be done earlier in the window. We'd done a lot of good work. I was happy to wait the summer if it meant it kind of got done. But to lose out would be shambolic. Now, there was a report that came out today from Goonerverse saying that Arsenal are looking to add in attacking areas, but again, they want to prioritise sales. That's fine, but the summer's kind of come and gone very quickly. Not long ago, it was, Yokere's advanced talks, all this stuff, early July. There's still all of July and August to do business. Then we go on tour. I don't know, that didn't feel like very long ago. But that was probably 5-6 weeks ago now. It's August the 12th. We're realising there's actually 2 weeks left of the window. And Arsenal need to really wake up if they're going to add that one last attacking player, which they thought was in the form of a left winger. Anthony Gordon hasn't been mentioned for a long, long time. Madueke's been playing out on the left. Martinelli and Trossard are still here. Downman's developed. I just think Eze's the obvious one we've got to do. But what I think is going to be frustrating from Arsenal fans is that we're seeing the markets opened up quite a lot in terms of left wingers. And Eze's cooled down. Rodrigo now could be on the move to Man City, especially because City have lost Grealish, who's gone to Everton on loan. James McAtee's going, I think, to Nottingham Forest. And Savinho could be going to Tottenham. And I actually think that's going to happen for around £45 million or something. Now, Savinho didn't blow anyone away last season at City, I don't think. I think he had some really good moments. Thought he started brilliantly. And then it sort of quietened down a little bit. But he'd be a really good signing for Spurs. And I think if he offered anyone at the start of the window, Madueke or Savinho, people would have said Savinho. Having Ad Kudus too, I think there's 2 wingers there that I think we all would have preferred over Madueke to Arsenal. Now, I'm not trying to be... Look, I think Madueke actually looked really good in his cameo, in his second half performance, should I say, against Bilbao the other day. And I think there's a good player there. So please don't think for 1 second that I'm trying to tear that player apart. I'm really not. We've done the deal now. He fully has my support. But I'm just looking at the optics of it. At the beginning of the window, if someone told you we were going to sign Madueke and Kudus and Savinho were going to go to Spurs, Cunha and Ben were going to go to Man United, I do think a lot of us would have said we got the 5th best player in that list of 5. And for the position we're in compared to Spurs Man United, that would have been really, really disappointing, especially when all of them can play on the left. Maybe Mbemo is the only one that's a bit of an awkward fit. But yeah, I think we all would have thought, really? So that's concerning too, especially if Rodrigo gets the move to Man City, especially if Isak goes to Liverpool. I think we would have seen Eze to Tottenham, Isak to Liverpool, Rodrigo to City. We'd have gone, no, okay. We might have said, well, we wouldn't have got Gyökeres, which, to be fair, was much more of a statement signing than I expected Arsenal to make when it came to the forward line. And Zubimendi is class. And we need to remember, yes, we've known about that since January, but that is a summer addition. So I'm not saying that we haven't added the best in class in some way, shape or form. I really like the players we've added. I actually think Madueke is I think he's already showing some good signs, and I think he's gonna look good. I think he'll do well for us. But is he the answer, the starting left winger? And some might say, yeah, but guys, Eze's not either. Eze's a 10. I think when you look at how central Martinelli's played the last game and a little bit the game before, I think Eze would have thrived in this role with a Calafiori. And I think we could have tweaked the system to get an Eze in there with Rice, Zubimendi and Odegaard. I've said that before. The video's out on the main Goonerverse channel. I think there was a way we could have done that. But you get what I mean about the frustration that will be, I think, underlying there with Arsenal fans. This sense of, like, we have had a good window, but did we play ourselves getting Madueke so early? And look, and by the way, again, I'm not just going to come down hard on everything Arsenal do because I didn't get the one player I wanted. I can totally acknowledge that Arsenal wanted to get ahead, that Arsenal wanted players ready for tour, that Arsenal wanted to make sure that they had players signed ahead of what is a really difficult start. That does make a difference. The fact that we've got Man United away, the fact that we've got Liverpool, Newcastle, City, all in that first 5 or 6. I can completely acknowledge that actually Arsenal weren't going to go, yeah, we'll just wait for Rodrigo all summer, and if we don't get him, then oh well. I quite like that they acted and added Madueke anyway, who can cover for Saka, who can play on the left. There are things I don't mind about the way we've done business in that left winger market, but I always said, if you're going to go Madueke because of the guarantee over Rodrigo, I don't love that, but I can understand it. But I can understand it if you signed Eze, because then you've got a complementary player, and then you still upgraded the left wing in a different way. And, you know, I can stomach those two with Gyökeres being how we really address the forward line, as opposed to kind of going all out for Rodrigo and waiting for him, or getting a cheaper striker and then adding Rodrigo, if you get what I'm saying. Because I acknowledge Arsenal can't do everything. But when you look at Liverpool trying to get Isak on top of Wirtz and Ekitike and all that, then you think, can we not show a little bit more ambition? And I don't even think we've had a window lacking ambition. It's just, you know, we're trying to beat the very best, guys. You need to understand, I'm trying to look at everything through the lens of, is it enough to win the title? Is it enough to make up for a January where we did nothing, last summer being a shambles too, and the window before that where we did nothing? Is it enough to win the title and overlook all those things? No, I think we're an Eze short, but you get Eze, and I will genuinely say, job done. Some people are still talking about 2 players coming in. I'm okay with just Eze, and I've said that for a little while, but we need to do that. And at the moment, it looks like Spurs are just advancing with it, and we're being slow. Don't lose out on Eze to Spurs, guys. The Savinho one's a bit sickening as it is. Losing out on Eze would be... He wants this move, supposedly, anyway. I think it'd be so disappointing if we don't get it done. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. I'm not feeling too good about this, but I think what it will do is spark, like, it will bring the deal to life. We're going to find out pretty quickly whether Arsenal are serious about this or not. Sales, you know, dependent, and I don't like that. So let's see. All right, catch you in a bit.